Part 1. The Curse Takes Shape. In the early 1800s, a jail named Occido stood as a place of fear and suffering. It was ruled by a cruel jailer named Rana Sat, a man who had inherited his position from his ancestors. Driven by pride and ego, he punished prisoners without mercy. Those who could not endure his cruelty were killed within the very walls of the jail. Their bodies were buried inside the same walls where they had suffered. Rumors were spread that they had somehow escaped. And every trace of truth, every witness, every piece of evidence was carefully erased. One day, jailer Rana Sat was on leave. Usually, no one dared to escape from the jail, but among the prisoners, one who was exhausted by torture saw an opportunity. That night, darkness had spread everywhere as it was a new moon phase. There was not even the slightest brightness. At midnight, there was only one guard on duty, and he was fully drunk and asleep. That prisoner had earlier been tortured and left near the borewell, untied but weak. Somehow he gathered the remaining strength and courage to stand. Slowly he moved toward the main gate. Outside, the guard was leaning against the door, asleep. When the prisoner carefully tried to open the door, the guard suddenly slipped against the lock. The impact loosened it. The prisoner pushed gently, the lock opened, and silently he escaped. The next day, when Rana Sat returned to the jail, news of the escape reached him. For the first time, fear touched Rana Sat. He was not afraid of the prisoner alone, he was afraid of what the escape might reveal. If the man spoke the truth outside, everyone would learn what truly happened inside the jail. How prisoners who could not endure his cruelty were tortured and killed, and how their bodies were secretly buried within the walls. From that moment, he stopped killing, but the darkness he had created did not fade. He searched the streets day and night in secret, desperate to find the escaped prisoner. Yet worry and fear followed him wherever he went. Amid that growing fear, one thing still kept him human: his love for his daughter. His wife had died during childbirth, and from that day onward, he became everything to the child, both father and mother. His daughter Sophie was studying at a school near their home. The school itself provided her meals. His brother, Rana Pratap, and his family were also part of their lives. To escape the harshness of his existence, he took his daughter on weekly trips to nearby towns, sometimes by carriage, sometimes by bullock cart, and sometimes by the early motor vehicles that had begun appearing in the region. But even nature did not allow him to remain happy. Tragedy struck during one such family trip. Rana Pratap was driving one of the early motor vehicles when he suddenly lost control of the steering. The vehicle skidded into the mud, the tires bent, and it tilted violently before crashing into a tree. The accident was fatal. Everyone traveling in the vehicle died instantly. Rana Sat survived. He was left alive, haunted, alone, and consumed by fear. After the accident, he returned to the jail not as the powerful jailer he once was, but as a man crushed by loneliness and regret. Grief consumed him. He stopped speaking. He stopped eating. He stopped thinking clearly. For 2 days, he sat in the same place inside his quarters, unmoving, staring at nothing. His eyes were open, but his mind was numb. It was as if his soul had already left him. In his trembling hand, he held a small locket. He whispered again and again in a cracked voice, "It's not good. It's not good." Tears dried on his cheeks. His fingers slowly lost their strength. After 2 days of silence, hunger, and madness, his hand loosened. The locket slipped from his grasp and fell to the ground with a faint metallic sound. Soon after, Rana Sat's life came to an end within those very walls he once ruled. Despised by those around him, the inmates dragged his lifeless body and threw it into the borewell, leaving the prison in eerie silence. They felt as though they were finally free from his torture. Yet none of the prisoners ever spoke of his cruelty or of what they had done. Before the new jailer, there were no confessions, no witnesses, no proof. The local people believed that after losing his family, Rana Sat could not bear the pain and had wandered into the jungle, never to return. But the darkness he carried did not die. It lingered, waiting.